Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel for Vlogmas. I have not filmed what I read in November yet, and it's almost the end of December. So, I have no makeup on, as we can tell. I just don't care at this point because I need to get this filmed. And it's Christmas Eve and we're just getting the house ready for tomorrow. So, yeah. I do have to shout out though, Dark Sport. So they did like their whole Marvel collection and I did scoop up most of them. So that's what I've been living in since I've been home. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm pulling up my Goodreads because that is literally how I track my books. So, starting off with November, I read the Second Time Around series. There was 4 books. Literally all of them were horrible, but I had to finish all of them because like I'm that girl that like if I start a series, I feel like I have to finish it because I'm like, what if it gets good? You know? So it was One Last Time, Not Until You, If I Only Knew, and We Own Tonight was the first one. Right? Yeah. And it was really bad. They were really bad. They were quick reads, so it wasn't like horrible. But yeah, they were bad. It was basically like love stories, as we all know. I'm a big romance girl. The lighting is gonna change because the sun is going down and I'm very sorry about that, but it's not my fault that the sun literally goes down at 4 p.m. But yeah, it was basically love stories and like all of the girls have some issues and then they find the guy of their dreams and blah 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 blah. It was dumb. I didn't like them. Then I read Sidney Crosby's The Rookie Year. Okay, this book was so good. It was basically just like them talking about Sidney Crosby and how the NHL was like going through like so much during that time because the year before Sidney Crosby was drafted was when the NHL had their like, I think they called it a blackout or a strikeout, something like that, where they didn't play and they didn't like do a draft or anything. So then Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin got drafted together, which I knew, and I love Sidney Crosby, but I'm not a Sidney Crosby like I follow everything he does. I've just always been like I knew of him and I liked watching him, whatever. I was a little sad though because I thought it was Sidney Crosby, like from his point of view, and there's like some snippets of his point of view, but most of it is like from a narrator's point of view, like a sports commentator or someone like that. Then I read Wolfpack, How to Come Together, Unleash Out the Power and Change the Game by Abby Wambach. I had to read it for a class. So we had a leadership class in school and we had to pick from like 8 or 9 different books and read them and then give our opinion. And I really want to read the Shoe Dog, the Nike one, but I read Abby Wambach because I played soccer when I was a kid like everybody else did, and then my 5th grade presentation I really wanted to be on like Sean Johnson, I think, but someone took it, so I did Mia Hamm, who was also a soccer player, and I feel like ever since then I've like had more of an understanding and like I like women's soccer, like I like that like the leaders that come out of it because like a lot of the soccer players that were on the USA team as women, like after they stop playing they like do other things with their lives, which is like really interesting English. And Abby Wambach I've always known of, but I didn't realize that now she's like a speaker, like she goes to like colleges and like things and talks about how she became who she is kind of thing. But what I found out from this book was that she's dating, married to the girl who read Untamed, Glennon, I think is her name. And I was like, whoa, small world. So yeah, I read that. It was pretty good. It was fast. It's only like 100 and something pages. But it has some like good things. I'm not like a huge like reader of that stuff, like the like self-help books. Not a huge fan of, but I did really like that book. Then I finished Neon Gods, which was Dark Olympus, the first book. It was like a 10 out of 10. It was 5 stars. But oh, and Wolfpack I gave 4. And Sidney Crosby I gave 4. I liked both of those books. Neon Gods was a 5 out of 5. It was so good. I won't lie though, it took me a really long time to get into it. Like, it took me a month to read that book. And normally I'm like very fast at reading. And it wasn't like that long of a book. Like, it was 380 pages. Like, I don't know why I was struggling so much to get into it. Like, I did not want to read it. Like, it was just like not grabbing my attention. But everyone on TikTok was talking about it, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay in it. I'm gonna see what happens, because I was like, maybe it's like the ACOTAR series where the first book is freaking horrible and then the rest of them are really good. But you just have to get through a couple chapters and then it gets good. So I read that, and then I read The Grand Hotel. That was probably one of the worst books I've ever read in my life. It was basically about this like mystery that like there's this hotel and everybody who checks in doesn't get to check out. And it just was horrible. I did not enjoy. Not in the slightest. It was horrible. And then I read All Roads Lead Here, and by Marina Zapata, if I'm butchering that. Oop. No, I really expected more of All the Roads Lead Here. Everybody was raving about it. I still haven't read Colty. I think I've said this in like 900 bajillion books I've read in a month. But it was good. It had a good plot, kind of, but it wasn't like, nothing really happened. Like, I feel like it was just, it was a romance book. Like a kind of an enemies to lovers. It was more like close proximity. I don't know. I don't really know what it was. It just wasn't that great. And I was kind of sad about it. I gave that one 3 out of 5. It wasn't the worst thing I've read, but it wasn't the best thing either. But yeah. And then the last book I read was A Christmas Pact by V. Keeland, Penelope Ward, and Andy Arndt. Literally so short. It was an audiobook. It was like maybe 2 hours. I wanted to listen to a Christmas like book really bad when I was cleaning my apartment. It was not very good though. So overall, a lot of the books I read this month, not great. The ones that I would recommend to you are, if you're a big hockey fan, read the Sidney Crosby series. It's pretty interesting and just like kind of cool to like listen to how like his rookie season was, and like the fact that he's literally been with the Pittsburgh Penguins for so long. I don't know. It's just like interesting to me. If you want like a self-help, ooh, I just scratched my neck. I have the most sensitive skin in the world, if you wanted to know. Wolfpack was good if you wanted just like a quick read, a quick advice. I don't know. It was like how to be like a leadership like role even when you don't really know if you should fit in that role. I don't know. It was like pretty good. And then the Neon God series, just get through the first book. I promise you will be okay. I'm reading the 3rd book right now. So just get through the first couple chapters. It's like the first like 10 chapters you just have to get through. And then like 20 through like 32 are pretty good. But yeah, those would be my 3 recommendations. All roads lead here, I know most people like. So unpopular opinion, I didn't like it, but I bet a lot of people would. But with that being said, I hope y'all are enjoying Vlogmas even though I'm really behind. But yeah. Bye y'all.